Good evening to all of you. Uh, Live. We are live. This is Hagbayon Channel. Let's talk about watches and timepieces as EDC. Watches and timepieces as everyday carry, as in EDC for prepping. Okay, in prepping parlance. By the way, Jason here for the Hagbayon channel and TMS Talks. This small channel is devoted to current events, literature, rock music, arts, blade culture, the outdoors, prepping, and survivalism. So, our topic for tonight is watches and timepieces as everyday carry. Right. The question now is, what is EDC or everyday carry? We have talked about this before, and there are so many topics, so many videos all around YouTube on this topic. But when we say EDC, it's actually items that you carry every day. It is everyday carry. Items that uh, you consider as life tools. Tools that you have figured as per trial and error, as per everyday living, uh, to be part of your daily contingencies. That's EDC or everyday carry in prepper parlance. So again, please check previous episodes in this channel if you wanna, check out uh, earlier videos on the topic. Also, what is prepping? Prepping is a term actually coined by the Americans, which is it actually pertains to from the word prep, means to being prepared mentally, physically, etc. Being prepared for any eventuality whatsoever. It could be a health emergency, a natural calamity, or it could be a crime or war or zombie apocalypse even. Shout out to my good friend Jose Rizal Adventures. He's the one who would always tell us that preparing for the zombie apocalypse is the best preparation for anything, for any eventuality. Because if you're ready for such an event, then you're ready for anything. Hi there, Madam Hinupa, Hinupa's love. Thanks for dropping by tonight. That is actually prepping. Now, what is survivalism? Survivalism is a mindset, uh, philosophy, practice of being a what? Being a survivor. Only that when it comes to survivalism, it pertains more to surviving even without so much, tools or equipment. So it's actually akin to bushcraft, uh, survival, etc. Living off feed, bug out locations, things like that. If you wanna learn more about survivalism, you might wanna check some episodes here, and episodes also by friend Pinay Survivalist. So shout out to Pinay Survivalist, a good friend of mine who is also into YouTube, YouTubing, and she's actually in the Philippines right now, even if she's actually a Filipina who lives in Canada. She's here now with her hubby, husband. So that's survivalism. Now, why is it that everyday carry must include watches? So why is it that everyday carry must include watches? So what do you think? Uh, why must we include watches? So feel free to comment down below. Well, I think EDC must include watches because time is everything. is everything. So our existence actually depends upon time in space. So without space, then we cannot be here, and without time, we cannot be here either. So it's time space. So time is everything. If we do not have time to exist here, if we run out of time, then we won't stop existing. If we still have time, then we'll still be here. Something like that. Prepping is time. Survivalism is all about time. Emergencies are under pressure. That's another reason. So if time is everything, emergencies are usually under time pressure. So as you know very well, if for example we encounter medical emergencies, usually there is time pressure. You see a victim of an impending heart attack or a stroke, then we must what? We all must act very very and move fast to bring the such person to a physician or a medical facility. Another reason is to avoid accidents and crimes. Avoid accidents and crimes. Well, knowing what time is it and things like that will certainly help us, for example, avoid accidents because if we keep track of time, for example, if we followed our if we follow our schedule, properly, then, for example, if we have to travel, we don't have to rush, because we are right on time, on schedule. We, forget time, then we might need to rush, and it will lead us to, some accident, for instance. Um, Also, if say you are hiking or you're outdoors and when you lose track of time, that's going to be an issue. For instance, you need to be in a particular place at around this particular time. So if not, the forest will be dark. So if the forest is dark, then if night falls ahead of you, then a problem because the trek might become a little bit more dangerous. So something like that. Crimes, knowing what time is it, and knowing when to go home and how long you're going to stay in a particular place, being time conscious of those things, um, will really, really help us. Right. Also, we must include watches in our EDC because um, for synchronicities, we need to synchronize watches with our family members so that we survive in eventuality. For instance, we have a mutual assistance group. In prepping parlance, it's called MAG, or Mutual Assistance Group. A group of people who earlier to help each other using their resources and abilities in case of SHTF. So shit hits the fan. In such cases, then there's need for uh, synchronicity or people working together at a particular schedule and all that, like a sort of conspiracy. So there, synchronized watches, and also to keep a schedule, we must include EDC or watches in our EDC to keep a schedule. Well, the example is in the movie I Am Legend. Protagonist there, had a digital watch, a Casio, G-Shock, I think, and he would use it as an alarm clock to actually, make a sort of a schedule so that he would know when it's time to go home because it's going to be dark and this will now come and attack or will now come out of their abode. So something like that. For instance, you are living off grid, something like that. Then you will know when it's time to fall, it's time to wake up, it's time to rest. Uh, it's time for this particular rest, or it's time for this particular animal to come out, so you could hunt them. So it's very important, in keeping a schedule. Having a watch is very important. Um, Now, how about watches that uh, I collect? What are the watches that I personally collect? Well, the answer to that is I personally collect branded second-hand watch. I started in 2014 when I got a watch from the workplace of being on time, of being early. For being an early bird, I got a watch as a gift, and from then on, I started, you know, becoming interested in watches. The gift I got was not even a brand new watch. It was just a second-hand watch, just a you know, to make people come on time. So when I got the watch, a particular watch, it was a Seiko 5. I got hooked in collecting second-hand watches. Second-hand, pre-loved, so to speak. Um, I stopped in 2016. I think the last watch that I bought was Seiko Sumo for women. Seiko Sumo women. I gave it to the wifey. I gave it to her as a gift. So there, that was in 2016. That was the last one. Um, why people? Why do people collect second-hand watches? Why do some people collect second-hand watches? Well, number one, they are cheaper than brand new watches, and they are cheap, yet they are, especially if they are branded, they are cheap and they're worth the money because, of course, they're cheap, as I said, and they're branded. And if you know the person, if you trust the watch hunter, then it will be a really really great deal. Um, People also collect second-hand watches to satisfy an itch. For example, there's this branded watch that you really like, but you can't afford it at the moment. But someday in the future, you might encounter, or you might contract with uh, a watch hunter to look for that watch. Second-hand version or pre-loved version of that watch, and later on, you buy that watch from him. Then gets satisfied. You are itching to own this particular model, but it's too expensive for you at the moment. Then maybe you have to wait for the time when it becomes available in the pre-loved market and at a cheaper price at that. So that's one reason. Also, another reason why people collect second-hand watches is they are great work of and engineering. So there's art and science in watchmaking. You know very well the history of watchmaking, and you know that it goes way way back, and humanity had to really work hard to find the perfect time, to figure out what really is the time right now. There's actually an article on that topic found in an old book published by the Reader's Digest, and the book is entitled "Why in the World." So it was a it's a question and answer book for trivia, and there was something there about the quest for the perfect time, humanity's quest for perfect time. So there's that content inside book. And it was really hard work for humanity. And yet, there's so many designs, there's so many manufacturers, uh, in all that, and the beauty of is the function, the perfection, the precision. It's just amazing. For some people, it's worth their money. So there, that's why some people collect second-hand watches because in the pre-loved market, you might encounter really, really popular brands and models that actually withstood the test of time, and you will now have the opportunity to acquire it at a much cheaper price, getting the quality of it, especially if it's old in vintage. So that's one thing. Another reason is that it's for symbolic significance. Some people collect second-hand watches. Uh, for instance, aside from it's cheaper, it's it's already discontinued, and in that watch actually signifies a particular truth lives. For instance, that person always idolized James Bond. So one time he sees one of James Bond's watches in the pre-loved market. So there, he buys it, and it's for him a kind of a symbolism. For instance, as in my case, I'm a writer also, and I encountered this movie. I watched this movie in 2014 entitled Stranger Than Fiction. It's a 2006 movie. So the watch that was featured in the movie was uh, Timex Dual Tech uh, Ironman Dual Tech Triathlon watch. So I did not stop until I actually found one. So I'm now wearing a Harold Crick's watch. I actually have two of it. Two of this. I actually have two of the Timex Ironman Dual Tech. Okay. For some people, it's symbolic because it tells us how much time we have left in this world, something like that. It tells us, it reminds us that we are living on borrowed time. So that's their thing. That's why they collect watches, because it's for them a very important facet of existence. Okay, what are my ED's watches on rotation? So that's thing we're going to talk about also. What are my everyday carry watches on rotation? So aside from my other watches that I don't really bring with me, that I just uh, leave at home, I also have a group of watches that I carry with me in my main backpack, in my bag out, backpack, and I use them in rotation. So, what are the watches that are included in my um, bag out bag that I consider as EDC, but I use them on rotation? Well, this one first. This is the uh, Timex Ironman Dual Tech uh, Triathlon watch, popularized by the movie Stranger Than Fiction, already discontinued by Timex. So very, very rare nowadays, and quite expensive, really. So this watch, dual tech, dual technology, because it has the digital and it has the non-digital aspect. So dual technology, and it's also heavy duty. That's why it's called the Ironman, because it's a sports watch, and yet uh, it could double as a dress watch as well. It's really beautiful. I think this came out in the year 2004 or something like that. Or if you read the on the back side, it says water resistant 100 liters Ironman. And here's the website of Timex.com, stainless steel, and it has two batteries to be used. So it's amazing. It's quite rare to find one that's actually working pretty well, but this one is working really well. So thanks for my watch hunter, my fellow Bicolano watch hunter, um, Roland Calleja. Thank you, Roland Calleja. Finally, I got this one. Stainless, heavy duty, and it has unique Ironman logo here. There. Also on the other side. There. This one I'm using because this is my latest. Well, there's also the other version of the Timex Dual Tech Ironman Triathlon watch, but the bracelet is no longer the original one. This is actually watch bracelet. So there. The only difference is one is black. The display is black, but it's really beautiful as well. Look at that. In essence, the mechanism, the idea of the watch is actually the same as the other one. So these watches are actually siblings. But this one was actually the watch that was used by Harold Crick, the character of Harold Crick, Will Ferrell, in the movie Stranger Than Fiction. And it uses two batteries. Because of its function, I consider this because of its function. You know that digital will always be more precise and accurate than the non-digital watch. So this one has both. And in case one of the batteries stops working, then you have at least the digital or the non-digital. So, beautiful, really fresh. Two of it. Heavy duty. It's Ironman. It won't be called Ironman for nothing. Tibay. It's beautiful. Also, there's my favorites. I have divers watch. I have etc. But these are the EDCs that I have on rotation in my bag. This one is the Seiko Kinetic Auto Relay. Seiko Kinetic Auto Relay. So also stainless. There's a version of this that is actually titanium. It's more expensive. Version is more expensive than this version. somehow there's of semblance, but and this is a different watch. This is Seiko, and this one is automatic and kinetic. So let's admire it. The good thing about this for EDC is it requires no battery really, except and there's actually a battery here because a kinetic automatic combines the automatic movement and quartz. But then if you use it, you're actually while using the watch, you're actually charging the battery. So no problem, no problem. You can use this for a long, long time and work as an automatic watch, and yet it has a battery. The good thing about this is if you stop wearing this, of course, this will turn off. But when you want to use it again, you just shake it and it will self-adjust. So it's auto relay. It will adjust on its own, except of course the date. You have to adjust the date yourself. Good for prepping because in instances when there's no more electricity, you are in the woods, you might need a watch that will not require so much of batteries. This one is like an automatic watch, but it has a battery for the auto relay, and if you shake it, that's when the battery. But during the daily function of the watch, it works as an automatic watch. It's made by Seiko. When there's no electricity, when there's no more way for us to acquire batteries, and you are in the woods, this will keep on working and working and working. And the good thing about this is, unlike automatic watches that when other automatic watches that when they stop after you stop, if you remove them from your hands, from your hand or wrist, the watch will stop working. And if you don't have any other source or any other way, what time is it? You might not be able to adjust it anymore. You might not be able to adjust it to the correct time anymore. And um, it will self-adjust. This will self-adjust. This works like a heavy duty. I've had this for a long, long time. This is actually my main watch. It used to be my main watch used to be the Seiko automatic divers, but I'm now using this. Well, this one I used this during the pandemic, during the lockdown. This is battery operated, 10-year battery. This is the uh, Seiko Casio Illuminator. So it has 5 alarms, not so expensive, but I got this one new, not so expensive, and yet works really, really well. Amazing watch, light but made of stainless steel, and works really hard. I abused this, this, and put it through difficult, terrains, but it's still working, and it's water resistant. All of my watches are water resistant. 10-year battery. So there. Do you also have a Casio watch? Casio. I've been looking at this particular model, Casio Tough Solar. It's quite expensive, but maybe someday I'll be able to acquire one. Amazing watch for EDC as well. Of course, this one, but really wonderful. This is fossil. This is fossil blue CH2436 model. So amazing watch. Uh, Heavy duty, yet it could serve you as it could also serve as a dress watch. Look at that. I might wanna change the lace or the bracelet or the band, leather band. Leather would suit this, I think. It just requires a new battery because the second hand is no longer working. Also, I acquired this pre-love. It's wonderful. It is from my hunter. Fossil blue. All right. All right. These are the watches that are included in my rotation, in my EDC rotation of watches. Okay. The question now is a good prepper's watch. A good prepper's watch must be able to work during a primitive survival scenario, which is the ultimate survival scenario when government collapsed. There's no more legal tender no longer works as it should. Uh, we're living off grid. Perhaps there's no more electricity. Perhaps there's no more way to acquire batteries, things like that. So I think a good prepper is an automatic watch or kinetic watch or solar watch if it's digital. So there, if it's a digital watch, for a solar watch, which is something that I don't have right now. Go for something like this one. Okay, this is automatic kinetic. Very useful because you don't need batteries. This will keep on working and working. And in case you forget to wear it, for instance, you keep it for a while and it turns off. When you again, it will self-wind. It will self. No need for another watch to be used as monitor. That's the beauty of this watch. This one is also great, but this is battery operated. And I love this because this is very, very literary. This is about Harold Crick, Stranger Than Fiction, about a man, fairly intelligent, working for the IRS in the United States, living a boring life, obsessive compulsive life, and all of a sudden he falls in love. He's in love with a punk, sort of an anarchist, yeah, lady in the movie. Miss Pascal, that's the name of his love interest in that movie. You might want to watch it also. All right, that's it. Do you need for your EDC? Maybe you think a phone is better, but a phone, will not do the trick because a phone has so many functions and it's mainly for time and because of that, you could drain the battery, or you could drop it, you could lose it, etc. It could get destroyed in the process. More or less, a watch is more durable, I think. So you still have to have your watch, even if you have a phone. When mobile phones came into fashion in the year late 90s, I think, and the year 2000, I stopped wearing watches. But then I realized there's still need for watches, especially when you misplace your phone, especially if it's improper to bring out your phone during a meeting and look at it to tell the time. Uh, it could be, improper uh, and impolite. So having a watch, you can just flip it, look at it really fast, quick glance at your watch. You don't know what time is it. So there. That's why we still need watches as EDC. Now, if you need to watch for your EDC, just PM me, PM the Minaswad Shop. Please visit Hagbayon Channel on Facebook and the Minaswad Shop on Facebook. If you need EDC watch, I have so many watch hunters in my group, so I could just send me what you're looking for, and maybe we could find it for you. All right, this is it for our episode for our live stream. Jason here for the Hagbayon Channel and TMS Talks. Remember, the pen is mightier with the sword. Shout out to Madam Hinupa. Shout out to Jose Rizal Adventures, Pinay Survivalist. All right, thanks.